So close, almost there. Hey, folks. Thanks for tuning in to the BAMF podcast. Today we have comic luminaries, Andy Lanning and Anthony Williams. How you guys doing?
All good. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for having us, Mike.
Great, thanks.
All right. Hey, I have to beg your guys' indulgence. I have a contractual obligation to play this musical intro, so just give me about 10 seconds. I know that's cheesy, but that assures you, gentle viewer, gentle listener, that this is a high-quality podcast. Only the finest, ethically sourced, speaky conversation for your podcast listening pleasure. None of that, fake Chinese manufactured conversations.
Only the best for us.
Only the best. High-quality conversation here, folks. You probably know both of these guys from their extensive careers working for comics. But why don't I give you guys a chance to introduce ourselves to our listeners? Mr. Williams, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Comic book artist from the late 80s. My career was primarily through the 90s and early 2000s for Marvel and DC. And then I went off and did a whole load of other things. And now I'm back drawing comics again. So I'm topping and tailing my career here as a comic book artist.
Just when you thought you'd got out, and
I know, they drag you back in.
It all comes full circle. Sorry, Mr. Lanning, how about you go next?
I am Andy Lanning. I write and ink comics, and have been doing so for over 35 years now, I guess, heading towards the 40-year mark, with a brief hiatus when Ant and I went off to do some a tech startup of all things in Florida for a little bit. But like Ant said, we're back now. We've teamed up. We've created a little company called Ideas and Inks where we tell comic stories to help people develop their IPs and their what we like to call their story worlds.
Well, that cues me up perfectly to talk about your current campaign. So thanks, appreciate that. Before we go further, anyone out there listening, or if you happen to be watching us, you can see it on the bottom there. There's a banner, tinyurl.com/legendari, spelled with an I instead of a Y, comic. Take you right to their Indiegogo page. And this is interesting because you guys are doing a graphic novel, I want to say 60-page graphic novel based on a Kickstarter for a line of action figures that happened last year. I got all that right?
Yep, absolutely.
That's really interesting. Tell me about that.
So we've been working with the company that produced the action figures, a company called Meta Travelers. We've been working with them for the best part of 3 years now. Prior to them doing the action figures, they did digital avatars based around this alien race called the Nibiru. And we worked with them to create a story world around the Nibiru because the guys were really interested in making the multi-platform. So we created a series of motion comics for them. There was about 36 episodes of motion comics based around the Nibiru, which Ant drew and I wrote, and then the team, as part of their campaign to make these things multi-platform, and because the digital avatars were they were designed 3D, and they were fully rigged as well. So it was almost like a hand in glove fit for them to develop action figures based on them, because they had these 3-dimensional, fully realized characters, and they teamed up with the Four Horsemen. Who, if you know the history of those guys, they started off at Todd McFarlane Toys and then broke away to create their own studio. And they were the guys who basically set the bar so high for what action figures look like these days. And they decided to do it as a Kickstarter, which Ant and I worked with them on Ant doing the packaging artwork, and I created backstories for all these characters. And these are a whole new set of characters that come from the world of the Nibiru. And the Kickstarter campaign was successful, but it apparently takes quite a long time to manufacture toys. So the who would have thought it? The campaign was sort of like succeeded and was completed at the end of November last year, but they won't be delivered until November this year. That's how long it takes. So in the interim, the Meta Travelers guys wanted to stay in touch with the people who backed them and reach out to new people to get them interested in the toys. And we talked to them about the idea of doing a graphic novel series which focuses on the story world we've already developed, but specifically on the characters that are now being made into the action figures. So I've created a story that does that, and Ant's drawing a backup strip in it. And our main story is drawn by awesome Peruvian artist called Gustavo Vargas. And we've got some alternate covers, one by Ant, one by Gustavo, one by our good friends Todd Knock and Liam Sharp. Ant, have I missed anything?
No, the only thing is just to say why it's on Indiegogo is because until you fulfill your Kickstarter campaign, you can't have a second one, and because it takes a year to get toys out there, we're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place there. So, so we thought we'd go the Indiegogo route with it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. There's a reason for that. There have been lots of folks who've run Kickstarter campaigns on top of each other, and at some point, to say, "Hey guys, let's relax on that." But the artwork looks amazing. I guess my next question was, if I back the campaign, how soon do I get this book? Because it looks amazing.
I mean, everything's done, so fulfillment will be super quick.
Okay.
Because we are just nipping and tucking design at the moment, but all the content's created. So
I think this week we'll have the print ready PDF to go off to the printers. So it's literally however long it takes these days to get it printed and shipped. So that could be within 6 weeks. It's more than likely going to be within a couple of months, I reckon.
Okay. Do backers get a PDF as well while they're waiting for the print version to show up in their mailbox?
Yeah. I think that's built into the tiers that we've got in there. So obviously that will be a lot more immediate.
Okay, awesome. You mind if we look at the different tiers they can back at?
Sure.
All right. Looks like $5 gets you the PDF, so that's a heck of a deal.
Yep.
Let's see. Standard comic book, $16. That's all right.
It's not bad for a 64-page comic.
Oh no, not at all. 16 with Todd Knock. Am I saying that right?
Todd Knock. Yep.
Variant. Liam Sharp, 17. Okay, Ant, you got your variant.
Yeah.
Signed Fall of Mira Prime comic. That's only 23. Wow, that's a steal. Nice. Okay, so this. Can you tell me? A lot of people are familiar, I'm sure, with a lot of your back catalog. I mean, you were famously associated with the most recent incarnation of Guardians of the Galaxy. Can you give us a little a glimpse into this world?
Sure. Yeah. So like I said, the story world was focused around this alien race called the Nibiru, and I think the best way to describe them is they're intergalactic explorers, and they've created a network of worlds connected by sort of instantaneous teleportation portals that use the technology of an ancient predecessor race called the Aeon. And they're kind of like the Federation in Star Trek. You know, they seek out new worlds and explore them and settle on them. But unlike most explorers who terraform an alien planet to suit them, the Nibiru have got a genetic trait, an alien trait to them, where they can adapt their form to suit the environment. So they use a trait called conjoining, where they'll merge with a local indigenous life form and take on the attributes of that life form. And that's how they are able to adapt to all of these different worlds that they travel to, no matter how inhospitable those worlds are. And that was kind of like a story we set up and told during the motion comics, where we had our main character was an earthling, a guy called Matt, who gets caught up with a Nibiru and ends up inside that's this story you're looking at the moment, inside the body of this injured Nibiru. They conjoin, but it goes wrong, and Matt ends up inside this alien body and being chased around the galaxy, basically. And then the story we're doing for the Legendari series actually pulls back and reveals that not all the Nibiru are quite as nice and egalitarian and pacifist as you might think. There are layers of sort of like Machiavellian backstabbing, different castes and cults within the Nibiru that are all vying for power. So we get to introduce various versions of these characters, like the Pale Kings. The character you've got there is part of the Imperial Guard, who's sort of like they're kind of the protectors, the superheroes of the Nibiru race. We've also got the Spite, the characters in red below that you can see on the screen there. They're an alien race who the Nibiru did conjoined with, but the Spite are actually a parasitic race. So that conjoining went wrong, and the Spite, like a virus, took over the Nibiru and have ever since been trying to basically use their abilities to take control of the entire universe. So there's a lot of conflict, a lot of grand space opera, a lot of cosmic shenanigans, the sort of stuff that I can't help but be drawn to. It's hot wired in my DNA, and what you're looking at there is some of Ant's lovely artwork for the Pale Kings. I think it's safe to say, Ant, that we our bread and butter is sci-fi stuff, but having been brought up on a diet of 2000 AD and war comics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When I'm talking to a lot of British comic book creators, and it always seems like 2000 AD is sort of imbued in the DNA of a certain generation.
It is. I mean, just as an aside there, I mean, I started drawing 2000 AD about 1989, 1990, something like that. And recently, as in 6 months ago, I did a 3-part Judge Dredd for 2000 AD again. So again, coming full circle.
Is this the one where Judge Dredd gets in touch with his feminine side, maybe takes up gardening, writing?
That's the one, yeah. I'm glad you saw it.
Yes, it's a bold new take on the character.
Yeah.
I know that's an easy joke to make, but yeah. Well, this book looks amazing. I'm a big fan of sci-fi action, so I'll be checking this out. Once again, for anyone watching the show or listening on iTunes, that's tinyurl.com/legendary with an I. Comic. I'll take you right to tiny URL. Or if you go to Indiegogo and you just search for Legendary, once again, I, not a Y, you will find it. And how much longer do folks have to back the campaign?
So the campaign's completed and so it stays open now. So you can go. It's almost like a shop front now, basically.
So this is sort of like late backing. It's another chance to get the book at the price offered to the backers.
Exactly. It's like it's their in-demand tier because the book was successful. And I think this is what the Meta Travelers guys wanted, the book out there primarily. That was their first and foremost was they want the book out there printed and to try and bring people to it now, because we know it's an uphill struggle to try and get people aware of something that's brand new. So this is a good way to do it, because it could stay up. As long as people continue backing it, it stays up for upwards of 2-3 months, I think. So, and then the Meta Travelers site itself will probably create a storefront, a shop front where you can get it to, and obviously there's a link in there to the action figure toys, which you can pre-order now online as well.
Awesome. Well, this looks amazing. Curious to see where they go next with Meta Travelers. If we'll see this, going to animation one day or something similar.
Yeah, I think if you go onto YouTube and check out Meta Travelers, you'll find the motion comics, and there's about 45 minutes, almost an hour's worth of motion comics that are on there as well.
Yeah, that's on me then, because I hear motion comics and I think of those little 2 or 3 minute snippets that DC and Marvel used to do a few years back. But
yeah,
45 minutes, that's a whole different story then. Okay.
Oh yeah, well we did them in they were like in 2 to 3 minute chunks. We did like weekly episodes, which almost killed us, I must say. And,
hey, hang on a second. You should try drawing it compared to writing it, Andy.
I don't know, yeah, but again, it's like, yes, the onus was on you, but it was also I came up with the bright idea of ending each one on a cliffhanger, almost like a newspaper strip. So it was like weekly having to come up with a dun 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 moment was really hard work as well. And then I would just say, and then 10,000 aliens attack and pass it over to Anne.
10,000 aliens with individual and unique faces.
Oh, completely, yes. Yeah, wearing the most intricate armor and tattoo designs.
But funnily enough, they were all mute, so none of them had any dialogue.
Yeah, it was good.
All right, well, hey, thanks for coming on. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys. Any closing thoughts before we wrap it up?
I like you said, I think it's a great looking book. We've got some absolutely spectacular artwork in here, from everything from the colors, the artwork, the lettering, the production of it is awesome. And so check it out if you like this type of book. I don't think you'll be disappointed, and it's not a huge amount of money you're asking for it. It's 64 pages at $16. I think is an absolute steal. But not only that, if you really like it and you like the world and the character designs, then go check out the action figure toys, because they are amazing. I mean, really mind blowing, with some lovely box art on there that Ant's been like bleeding to do as well, to draw these incredible intricate characters.
Yeah, but they're fantastic to draw. So yeah, I mean, all in all, I mean, the Meta Travelers guys, they set their bar so high that everything they put out has got to be at a level of quality. They're great people to work with because they push us constantly. So you're not going to get anything that feels like corners are being cut or anything like that. It's nothing but absolute primo content.
Nice. All right, well, hey folks, thanks for checking us out, the BAMF podcast today. Andy, Anthony, always a pleasure talking to you, gentlemen.
And to you too.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Appreciate it, mate.
And no worries. Everyone, please check out tinyurl.com/legendary with an I comic. And until then, we'll see you next time on the BAMF podcast.